Hello people, this is What Day Is It? Welcome to our channel. Today we are going to talk about World Mental Health Day. This World Day was designated in 1992 by the World Federation for Mental Health. In many countries, it forms a larger part of the Awareness Week for mental health and mental illnesses in general. Perhaps unsurprising, but this year the World Health Organization chose the pandemic as its main focus in connection with mental health. As you may have experienced, no, you have experienced that the situation of the pandemic is affecting all of us in different ways. Some people have lost their jobs or in job insecurity. Students have to take online classes, be away from their classroom experiences. Other people have of course died or are very sick or are suffering from after symptoms of this disease, and their family members are affected as well. Travel restrictions keep people apart constantly, and quarantines and lockdowns and even wearing a mask can cause severe psychological stress. Even the people who deny wearing masks or deny the pandemic in general are suffering from some sort of mental alteration. So these issues are of course in separation all important, but interconnectedly they're also very important to look at. In worst cases, mental health issues can even cause death by suicide. Unfortunately, suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 20-year-olds. There are several important key observations you can make around your friends and families if you think they are at risk of suicide. These key observations include talking about suicide, purchasing weapons such as firearms or sharp objects or ropes, being preoccupied with death, death calls, or the culture of death in general, doing risky, destructive, or self-harming things. This can be anything from extreme sport or just irrational behavior. Or perhaps saying goodbye to people you love or you care about and pretending or saying that you will never see them again. Or withdrawing contact with people, not responding to texts or calls from family members and friends. So with all these very crucial things in mind, of course, let's focus on something more positive. What can you do to keep a healthy mind and a healthy lifestyle throughout this pandemic? Some of these tips are of course very general, but that doesn't mean they don't work in connection with this situation. Perhaps for me the most important thing is keeping a healthy sleep cycle, sleeping at least 7 or 8 hours a day with regular intervals, so going to sleep at the same time every day and waking up at the same time every day is very helpful to get a grip on your day and not let it slip by and you won't feel like you have done nothing or perhaps too much in a day. Also, keeping contact with your family members and friends is also important. Perhaps you cannot meet them personally, but it doesn't mean you cannot call them or of course video chat with them. And these people around you are very important as they might listen to your different problems. Sometimes even listening can help a lot. So be a good listener, but also find people who can help you in terms of listening. It is also very important to find activities, hobbies that can distract you from your daily hurdles of life and can switch you off. For me, it's playing the guitar and fixing different kind of things with a soldering iron, but for many people it's yoga. And even if you cannot do these activities with other people currently, or at least not personally, you can do these online, maybe video chat, or even just watching a YouTube video and feeling like you're next to somebody. I know it's not perfect, but it's still better than succumbing to the situation and being quarantined and cocooned, because it does affect your mental health, and you might not even feel it, but it does. Also, if you can, try to get out in the nature as much as possible, of course adhering to the restrictions of your local municipality. But definitely find a hobby, take the time to relax, to go outside. Do not over multitask everything, even in the pandemic. So find the time for self-healing, self-awareness and self-learning, even in this difficult time. Perhaps even designate anxious times. If you're anxious about the pandemic or different kind of things, find a time where you can focus on this, but at other times just roll with the day and you shouldn't care about this at that moment. And most importantly, it's okay to reach out to a professional. In many countries, mental health still has a stigma. Hell, in Hungary, even if you go to a doctor with a paper cut, you might not get out of the hospital. But mental health is even something more utopistic. in nature. And I know many countries suffer from this. So, but still, it's okay to reach out to a professional. And this professional might be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, depending on your situation. And hopefully it's covered by your insurance or public healthcare. But even if it's private healthcare, if you can afford it, it's worth at least taking a preliminary appointment. And you might not have huge things going on in your life or serious things or even illnesses, but it's important to take care of your brain just as much as other parts of your body. And it shouldn't be a stigma to talk about mental health or to talk about going to a psychologist, because it's perfectly normal to ask for professional help. And sometimes just being listened to by a professional can be very soothing and very calming. I want to know about your situation, however. Is mental health stigmatized in your country? Is it okay to visit a psychologist or psychiatrist and talk about it? Is psychology covered by your insurance, or is it covered by public insurance, or is it a private thing? And perhaps, what is your story about visiting a psychologist or psychiatrist, if you want to share, of course? And what is your best practice to keep a sane and healthy mind? I really want to know, and I'm really curious about your opinions. So please leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for your attention, and this was What Day Is It? See you next time. And don't forget to subscribe.